Hot Mulligan's bright and wacky song titles have never reflected the darkness in the songs they're attached to. They fully embrace this shtick on their latest release, Why Would I Watch? It's their first full-length since 2020's You'll Be Fine, and their first full-length on the label Wax Bodega. It's the brainchild of Zach of Property of Zach, who has been absolutely crushing it lately and has an impressive roster to show for it. It's been a long, long wait for this album, which has been filled with a public falling out of their previous label No Sleep Records, tons of touring, and an EP called I Won't Reach Out to You, along with 2 acoustic EPs. Despite this frantic schedule, Hot Mulligan made the time to craft what I think is their best work to date. And I know I'm not alone here. The pop-punk subreddit can't shut up about this album, but I think that's for a good reason. For me, this album doubles down on the things I loved about Hot Mulligan. They didn't just reinvent themselves, tell everyone they grew up, and switch to shoegaze. They polished what they were already good at until it had a perfect shine. If you hate Hot Mulligan, there's a good chance it's because you can't get behind the vocals. And this album isn't going to win you over. Tade's throat-shredding screams are as visceral as ever on this album, and it seems like every song gets him to that volume, his max volume, at least once, apart from Betty. But Hot Mulligan has 2 vocalists, and in the past, a lot of these songs have been either Tade's or Chris, but Chris takes a bit of a backseat in this album, and a lot of the songs are Tade's and Chris, with Tade's taking the lead. Chris may not be solo on any songs, but he shines in the appearances he does make, particularly in It's a Family Movie, She Hates Her Dad. Chris crushes it in every song he features in, and of course shreds on the guitar as usual. For me, Hot Mulligan's appeal is their lyrics. Introspective, often wordy, and always hard-hitting lyricism is a guarantee, and this record is no different. I think it's their best record to date. In 2023, everyone in Hot Mulligan are better musicians than they were 5 years ago, and I feel comfortable saying that they're nearing the top of pop punk. I thought for sure that the internet would agree with me that this is Hot Mulligan's best album yet. But just like Blink-182's 3-album run from Enema, Pants and Jacket, and Self-Titled, the world doesn't have a clear favorite. In my opinion, Pilot was Hot Mulligan at their weakest. The guitars had less punch and personality, Tade's rarely cranks it to 11, and overall, I think this album can be described as timid. I still absolutely love this album. There was a semi-fight in I-69, and How Do You Know It's Not Armadillo Shells are essential Hot Mulligan. But we all knew that Hot Mulligan could do better, because they had done better with their previous EP. Then, You'll Be Fine came out and proved they were something special, complete with songs that are cursed to be on every set list they ever make. The Quip Sunglasses and Backyard. With You'll Be Fine, they injected some extra energy into their songwriting. Something that I don't see brought up often is how convincing the performances are on this record. Tade sounds like he's giving it his all on Equip Sunglasses. Chris sounds absolutely heartbroken and hopeless on Green Squirrel in Pretty Bad Shape, and both Chris and Tade's anger in Digging In is relentless. All this is to say that You'll Be Fine was Hot Mulligan leveling up big time from Pilot, and Why Would I Watch is Hot Mulligan showing that they're the best they've ever been. Let's talk about some of the songs on here, because I think this is their best work to date. Leghole and Family Movie blend perfectly into each other, with Family Movie having the best interplay of Chris and Tade's since Dairy. It feels like the perfect 2 songs to open a concert with, and a closing hook that sticks with you. The energy of Family Movie does not let up. In fact, they take it up a notch on And I Smoke. Tade's has never sounded so frantic in a song, which matches the anxiety and paranoia of the subject matter in this track. It's a standout on the album for sure. We're 3 tracks in and you start to wonder if Hot Mulligan will ever let up, but they finally get to take a breather on the opening minute of this song's called It's Called What's It Called, a track with multiple distinct parts and moments that circle back into each other, featuring a little piano and lyrics that might bring the listener to tears. It's a perfect song about lamenting lost time. The groovy title track, No Shoes in the Coffee Shop, lightens the mood a bit in every way except lyrically. Christ Alive, My Toe Damn It Hurts is one of my favorite Hot Mulligan songs to date, and honestly I would be down to listen to an entire song that sounds like the outro of this one, and I know there's plenty of people who hate this sound, but I can't get enough of it. Smack dab in the middle of this record is a touching little song about Tade's pet rat, and then we're on to the back half of the album. They're all great songs, but I especially love John the Rock Cena, Can You Smell the Undertaker, which is my favorite Hot Mulligan song to date. I resonate deeply with this song. I think it's expertly crafted, and I love how it caps off the entire record with the word holy. To me, this is the perfect song and a perfect closer. I've been reading some reactions to this album, and it seems mostly positive. Some people can't get on board with Hot Mulligan at all because of the vocals, or they can't get past the song titles or silliness of Hot Mulligan's persona. But to me, they're at the top of pop punk right now. They're the entire package, and nobody is doing it better. I'm inclined to say that they're the reason Wax Bodega is popping off right now and getting lots of attention, and lots of great bands. Love them or not, Hot Mulligan is moving the needle and are primed to be the biggest act in the scene. I feel pretty comfortable calling this a perfect album, for me. Although I never would have thought an album with a song called Cock Party 2 better than the first would ever be considered perfect, but here we are. Sure, you can hate this album, pick it apart, call it derivative, say it's not as good as their early work, but for me, it's flawless, and I needed this album this year. But why would I watch my favorite album of the year? Well, we'll just have to wait and see. If you're curious, Koyo, Trophy Eyes, and Sincere Engineer's new albums are top contenders. I hope to talk about those albums very soon, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on that. Until then, thank you for watching.